shows, not us. We show up with real talent like OSRIC CHAU, Tyler Johnston. Enjoy your time. We'll see you in a few.
Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed food from a region that I happen to be from. Rob.
Yeah.
Rob was learning Mandarin in the back. I was teaching him.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Let me teach you a word that is very relevant to now.
Okay.
Can you say that? What's that? If you know the word, you can say it.
Oh, is it? Nangue?
Nangua.
Nangua?
Nangua. That means pumpkin.
Pumpkin. Nangua?
Nangua.
Nangua.
So now everybody knows how to say pumpkin. All right.
That's the right tonality?
Yes.
Nangua.
It's Halloween, and you know what's really nice? You were there 2 years ago when I did come dressed up, and everyone came dressed up, and you guys made fun of me all day until...
Hey, in all fairness...
It was Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never make fun of you.
Right, but that was the reason why I came as Rapunzel the next time, because you guys made fun of me so hard.
Right. And you want to come with something that Rich might know. He doesn't understand the video game references.
He understood Tangled because he'd watched it
Because he
so
has
many
kids,
times.
yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
But
I think he actually liked the movie, though.
a lot of people may not know this, but you're dressed up to something right now.
Maybe. Maybe not. Let's just keep it very subtle.
Okay.
Rob. I love you, Rob.
I love how tall you are.
Me too. Some might say I am tall. There. Thank you. Thanks, Rob. All right. I gotta chalk that up to awkward entrances. That's definitely one of the top. Hi, everyone.
Hey!
I mean, this is an incredible Friday. I can't believe how many people skipped work and school to make it here.
Woo!
No, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing.
It's a great thing.
But you're making up for it, right? You're making up for it? Vacation.
No.
Right, vacation time, that exists. So, I just came from London, and this was crazy because I was at Heathrow Airport, and it was an awesome trip. I went to Harry Potter Studios, had a great time. Loved it there. I had so much fun, and my only regret is that I went with this tour bus who only gave me 3 hours there, and they were going to leave at certain times, so I had to be back, and so I kind of rushed through the end. But I really could have stayed there for probably a couple extra hours. But at London Heathrow, I was just chilling out at the lounge, and I don't know, it was such a great trip, and I was ready to come to Chicago a few days early to hang out with some friends, and I looked at my clock, and I thought my flight was at 4, and so I thought my flight was at 4:30, and so at 4, I went to check, and I couldn't find my flight, and I went and asked them, and my flight had left. And I think I've missed 2 flights in my life. The first flight I missed because I was standing in the wrong line, and it was at a time when Europe had these volcanic things. The line wasn't moving, and I was playing my DS at the time, and so I just wasn't paying attention. So I just spaced out. And this was another time I was doing some writing in the lounge, and I just spaced out. By the time I was like, oh, 4 o'clock, I should probably look at it. Flight was gone, and I had to book another flight, which was incredibly expensive, being in United was the same day. But they didn't have a flight in the same day. And it was such an expensive flight that I'm like, you know what, OSRIC, you can't justify going back to London and staying in a hotel. So I spent the night at Heathrow Airport, spent an extra 16 hours there, and it turned out to be this wonderful adventure. The only thing open, because the airport actually shuts down except for this Costa Coffee there, and I ended up hanging out with this guy named Michael, who's the lead singer of this heavy metal band. And I listened to heavy metal music all night because we decided we didn't want to sleep. And that was crazy. And so I thought I didn't have any jet lag because I stayed up till 7 a.m. the next day, jumped on the flight, slept until 10 a.m. here, and yeah, I thought I got over jet lag, but I'm still tired, so I don't know why. I've had 2 full nights of sleep, and I've got heavy metal kind of blaring in the back of my mind still. But yeah, what a crazy adventure. London. Loved it. Heathrow, I probably can avoid now. So yeah, I'm still a little bit tired, even though we're like in the middle of the day, so bear with me if I'm a little sluggish. I feel like I've been really sluggish. I've been on the road for like a month. So let's open up the floor. I think there are people here.
Hi.
Hi.
So my question is, if monsters die and go to purgatory, where do angels go when they die?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I would ask you guys. I think you're more experts on that. If demons die, they go to purgatory. Angels, where do they go? Do they go anywhere? I thought they just died for good. Don't they? What would Bobby say? Wait, I don't know. Hold on. Do you actually know the answer? Is this a pop quiz? Because I don't know the answer. Do they ever explain it?
Cassie's never been stabbed. She just said,
But hasn't Castiel died like 100 times?
yeah.
Where does he go?
Because God brought him back. And then they go
He keeps coming back. But where does he go in between? Does he just hang out? Didn't he? He goes to the Costa Coffee at Heathrow Airport, where he listens to heavy metal music until they eventually resurrect him, and of course he always.
Mustard with God. That's mine.
Actually, that's a good question. Yeah, I have no idea. I thought they went to purgatory as well. Maybe they just die really quickly there because no one likes them. In purgatory. No one likes them in purgatory. Thank you. If you come up with an answer, you should tell me at some point. Hi.
Hey, I'm Laura. So you thought you could be sneaky, but I saw you on my new favorite TV show, The 100, with your eyes bleeding out. By the way, stop that. So I'm just wondering, do you have any plans to return to that, or like, what are your upcoming projects? What's going on?
So The 100. I mean, it was a quick thing. There were basically the casting directors that casted me in Supernatural was like, hey, this is a thing. Like, can you just do it? Once you're in it, you're like one of the 100, and they could always have the option of bringing you back. For me, I'm like, I don't know. Usually, I don't usually do like smaller roles like that anymore. But I'm like, oh, he's bleeding out of his eyes, and it just like came at such a perfect time. Like, yeah, I'll do it. I could bleed out of my eyes again. It'll be funny. That's why I did it. So I don't know. It's a great show though, and it shoots in Vancouver. And anytime I get to work in Vancouver, it's just nice to be home where I can hang out with my family and friends. But in terms of projects, I've been spending a lot of time writing, and right now I'm gearing up for NaNoWriMo. So for all of you writers, all of you who aren't writers, NaNoWriMo is the month of November where we challenge ourselves to essentially write 50,000 words throughout the month. And so right now I'm writing scripts, and I'm hopefully finishing my outline for November 1st, and then I'll spend every single day writing. And it's just for those people who want to write, who need like some sort of motivation and incentive to do it. And so it's kind of like a group thing, and hopefully by the end of it, you make it such a habit that you kind of do it on your own. I think that's the idea. So that's what I'm focusing right now on, writing. It's hard. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. First, let me just say, me and my brother cried a lot when he died. We miss you. Second, if you were to come back as a monster, what monster would you want to come back as?
Oh, if Kevin came back as a monster, I'd hope he'd come back as a demon, because I think the one he, bonded most with was Crowley. I think it'd be pretty cool if Kevin came back, with Crowley somehow. Would that make sense? It can make sense. Anything can make sense in the show.
Yeah.
That's the brilliance of it, because the writers spend so much time writing. They do NaNoWriMo every month. I hope so. Honestly, I love working with Mark. He's a really fun person to work with, and he's very professional, and the Crowley character is just so colorful. I think if you can work with anyone, if you worked with Crowley, you never know where your storyline could be. You could be a good person, you could be a bad person. I just feel like there's almost as much as there is with Dean. And Dean and Crowley are my two favorite characters, so one of those two. Hi.
Hi. The fortune was accurate. You're smile is amazing. So I was wondering how, because I know the show's from like Sam and Dean's point of view, so how do you think season 8 would have been different, or what would it have consisted of if it was from Kevin's point of view?
It might have been a little bit boring. I mean, when I explain my character to people, it's like, well, there's these monsters that no one can kill, and there's instructions on how to kill them on these rocks, and I'm the only one in the world that can read these rocks, and so people keep kidnapping me. And so I'm a hostage here, the good guys, and then I'm a hostage with the bad guys, and then I'm a hostage with the good guys again. And then I want to be a hostage. I developed Stockholm Syndrome. I really like them, but so now they don't have to lock me up anymore. I lock myself up. I don't know, it's, from Kevin's perspective, I mean, I think it would just show more of the insanity that's going on, and I don't know, it would be, I don't know, Kevin's story is kind of tragic, you know, and one of the reasons why I love him so much is he kind of does have that hero's journey, you know, he goes through all this, he essentially sacrifices everything that he's ever valued and cherished, and all of it basically came to a point where they're like, we appreciate what you did, but sorry. And then he died. So it kind of, I know, I think if it followed Kevin's story, it would be a very sad and depressing story, unfortunately. And then it would have ended, and that would have been like it would have ended there. So probably a good thing that it didn't follow Kevin's story. Although he's a ghost now, so. Right, my theory. I'm gonna run with this theory. Ghost Kevin is bored Kevin. Ghost Kevin has been trying to break through the veil. Now that's all he's trying to do because he's a good student and this is what he does. And at some point, if they ever do revisit him, he's just really good at breaking through the veil. So he's got ghost power that makes him a non-ghost because he's so good at breaking through the veil. There you go.
He's almost even with her.
Hi.
Okay, so you probably don't
I don't even know
remember
if
this
we'll
like a
get
long
to
shot, but my name's Ashley, and I Snapchatted you a picture randomly of my bird one day.
What kind of bird was it?
It was like a lovebird, and you were like, I love birds, and then you like made my entire day. It was just a long shot. Anyway, so my question
How are
is-
your birds doing?
Okay.
Are they still in love?
Yeah.
For life, right? That's what lovebirds do.
Okay, so my question is, what's like the weirdest thing you've ever gotten, like on Snapchat, or like what a fan has given to you?
Oh, the best are people send me. This one person sent me a picture of their poo. Because they talk about poo a lot. I'm like, yeah, all right. That was probably the weirdest thing, but I mean, I guess it didn't really gross me out. It was just like so out of the blue. I get a lot of, I don't know, like a lot of derp faces, like a lot of double chins, a lot of animals. Animals are the best. So many cats. Cats are the best. Like, it's just like, I can just watch like videos of kittens like pawing at blankets and stuff. There's just something really soothing about that. So sometimes I'll just like, because I do that anyways, when I just watch random Facebook or YouTube videos, it's just cats and dogs playing around. And there's just something very relaxing and inherently enjoyable about watching like such innocent creatures just playing. Yeah, so birds didn't really do anything, but yeah, the kitten one's the best, and the poop one is probably the weirdest one. Only one time. Now, I'm not suggesting you should send me pictures of your poop. Please. Though I am one of those people, I have to look every time. Doesn't matter. Just have to look. It's like a compulsion. And it's good to check. Which reminds me, oh man, I shouldn't talk about it. No, I'll tell you this one time I did a detox. This is the weirdest thing. My roommate, I was in China, and my roommate dragged me into this detox. It's this lady, he's like, hey, this lady wants to like do us a detox. She's giving us a great deal. It's like $200. And like, what is it? It's like, you know, she clears out your system. So what it was we spent 24 hours at this, at her place, and she gave us this like lemon rind juice. And for the first half of the day, and then the second half of the day, we proceeded to have the worst diarrhea I've had in my life. For like 12 hours straight. And it was like back and forth, back and forth. Like I'd go on, then he'd go on. It was awful. You really need your own toilet, and by the end of it, your body is so like empty that everything comes out liquid, and it was burning. And I think I pushed too hard in the beginning, and because it's mostly lemon rind, it burned a lot. So you can imagine that. And then at the very end, she's like, all right, you're almost done. And she put a basket in there. It's like, now go in there. I'm like, And so we did it. And then she's like, okay, now I'm going to take a picture of it for your, for your scrapbook. It was the weirdest. And then she like, you know, she's just talking about it, and I didn't even want to look at. I mean, I like looking, but not like for extended periods of time. And she's like, okay, so it looks like you've been eating this. You could probably use a little bit more of that in your diet. And here's your photo for your scrapbook. And I'm like, please just keep that. You can do whatever you want with it. It was a very strange experience. All right, do not send me pictures of your poop. Okay, that's where we'll end that one with. Do not send me pictures of your poop. Unless it's really different. Alright, no, don't. But maybe she did it at like a bowling alley and it was like really long. Okay, no, don't. Or if it was like a perfect squirrel and I'm like, oh, then you can draw like the cone. Okay, anyways. Do not.
I don't know how you went on a tangent from lovebirds to just poop.
Oh yeah, that was lovebirds to that. Please stop me if I do that. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Since you said that you were doing that writing and you said you were doing a script, would you actually think of submitting a script of your own to Supernatural and say, hey, I'm still here, I'm a ghost, I can pierce the veil, like you said?
That is a very good point. See, the problem I have with writing, especially as an actor, I mean, it's really easy to be very, selfish. Like, oh, this is my character, I want to write all these things. But when I'm writing, I'm really trying not to write with myself in mind, because I feel like because your bias is so towards yourself, you end up forgetting other characters, and then it's not a complete story. And so same with Kevin. Like, I would love to, but I find it might be too hard for me to kind of let go of that and just write for the sake of the story. And so for that reason, I probably won't. Like even now, the script I'm writing right now, I started over 15 times already, and every time like it's too much on this, too much on that, not enough of this. And at the very beginning, I'm like, okay, I gotta write a story with me in mind, because that's what I want to do. But now I'm like, no, let's not do that. I'm like, this character could be me, but it could easily not be me. And so I think it's given me a different perspective on how I see the story, and I kind of look at all the pieces, and which is important is not always what's good for the character as an actor if you want to play it. Does that make sense? Yeah, So no, I probably wouldn't write a Supernatural script because I'd be so biased, and Kevin would have all this. I mean, Kevin would be Crowley essentially. So that would. Though there's this like nice post that's just like a regular Supernatural episode, except I play every single character and no one ever says anything about it. Kind of like that. That would be really fun. The guys could use a break. And nothing is ever spoken about it. No one even like, I know. Wouldn't that be weird? If this were to happen on any show, it would be Supernatural. So we'll see. Just a random episode where one person plays all the characters with no explanation. Yeah, this would be the show to happen. Thank you.
What is your favorite cosplay that you've ever done?
So many. I mean, I have a lot of cosplay memories. Like, it really comes down to the moments. Ariel, Little Mermaid, was probably the biggest one that it superseded the fandom. I had friends that I hadn't talked to for years, like my family, my friends that don't know anything about Supernatural, actually have it like pop up on their feed, or they saw it somehow, and just led to really weird conversations. Last year has anyone ever played the game Journey? Okay, so it's an indie game on PlayStation. I mean, you can get it from a lot of places, but it's a beautiful game. And I did this at San Diego Comic-Con last year, and I crashed the panel. I asked a question, and it was just like this, it was like a perfect moment, and it was like the creepiest costume. So I spent a couple of days before meeting as many Supernatural fans as I can in the costume, and it's a little bit scary, to be honest, and I didn't say anything. And just getting a bunch of photos and stuff, and then in the morning I was in line and I was trying to get, hand people coffee with Misha and the Random Acts team, and like half the people took it because I was, again, kind of scary. And then at the panel I was on stage and I couldn't see anything because there's mesh over my eyes, and then I unveiled it, and it was like that. It was just a perfect moment. And so for that reason, that was one of my favorites. Carl Fredrickson from Up. Loved being an old man because it was just fun to like walk with props. I mean, anytime you cosplay, it is like acting. You get to be a different character, and there's just something fun about it. And so having like a cane and walking really slow throughout the entire weekend was just nice and relaxing. Yeah, I know. Who hasn't tried cosplaying before? Okay, who has cosplayed before? There we go. So you understand the thrill of it. I mean, it's weird. If you've never done it, I would encourage you to at least try it. Don't go crazy right away. But there's a lot of different ways of appreciating. One is just like being there in the costume. Two, sometimes you really get involved in the crafting of it and how it comes together. And I know some people really like it. For me, it's like the performance aspect. Being a performer. It's like, okay, now you come in the costume, it's really well made, you can talk about those things, but how are you going to present it? And that's, and just a mixture of the three, there's something really thrilling about it. Yeah. Thank you. Hi.
Hello. I heard that you broke Jared's arm. And I know that you can give him a beating, but do you think you could give Jensen a beating?
Wait, are you saying that you think Jensen can take on Jared?
No.
That's exactly what you're saying.
No.
I'm gonna tell him that. What's your name?
Caitlin.
Caitlin. I'm gonna tell him that. You know what, Jensen, I don't think we're allowed to wrestle anymore, but Jensen would be a challenge. Like, Jared is ridiculously strong. When I wrestled him, I didn't break his arm. We wrestled because we were bored, and somehow he dislocated his shoulder. It was an old injury, and after he did it, he kind of popped it out on his own. I mean, I felt really bad about it. But it's just this happens in school. I mean, it could have happened in the green room. It could have happened at home. Sometimes when you get a bunch of guys together and there's nothing to do, you get bored and you start to wrestle for no reason. That's just what happens. I mean, probably other things. But Jensen, I feel like Jared at the time, he did lose a lot of weight after that, which I feel awful about. But I think he's spending more time with his children now, which is good. So I'm okay with that. That's what I tell myself to sleep at night. Jared is very strong, but one of the reasons why I was so like, okay, yeah, let's wrestle, is because I know he's a good striker. I know he trains like pad work, and he's got a really strong kick and punching. But for grappling, you kind of have to know what you're doing in order to really. I mean, if you know what you're doing, you have a big advantage against someone who doesn't. And if you follow like mixed martial arts or fighting at all, like there's a time and place where like the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu people they're tiny guys and they're beating all these giants, and it's because they knew what was going on. And so when I look at Jared, I don't see a 230-pound guy coming at a 150-pound guy. For me, I see, okay, it's like, yes, he's trying to like crush me right now because we're wrestling. But all I see is all the openings. I'm like, okay, he's leaving a spot open under his arm, I can probably go around his neck, and it's just like, for me, it's very methodical. And this comes from, a decade of martial arts training. So for me, it's very, almost mathematical and scientific in how I approach that. For Jensen, I feel like he probably knows how to throw his weight around better. I don't know if he's had any jiu-jitsu training, but I feel pretty comfortable going against Jensen. I mean, again, it's not a sure thing. Like, again, they're very strong guys. They're very physically fit. And so if I make one mistake, it's over, right? And so in order for me to beat someone like Jared or Jensen, I have to be perfect. Now for Jared, my younger brother is actually huge. He's almost 200 pounds, but he's a bodybuilder. He's really big, incredibly strong. He's a beast. He trains people for a living. And so I've wrestled him a couple of times, and so I knew what I was getting into with Jared. I'm like, okay, so if I make one mistake, my neck is really gonna hurt. But because I know what the tendencies of someone who hasn't trained before, it's easier to get around. Yeah, as a martial artist, I would certainly go against Jensen. But let's say if you even took like a month of classes and then you really focused on it, then probably wouldn't be able to beat him, because at the end of the day, like, weight equals strength and power, and I don't have like years and years and years of experience on this particular style. So this is just, against a beginner, I can for sure hold my own, but against someone who's really good at it, it's, I might as well be a beginner myself. I'm just an obsessive fan that watched too many videos and practiced on his brothers a lot. That's really it. The style I trained was it's a dancey style. It's very performance orientated. It is kind of like figure skating and a gymnastics floor routine and martial arts mixed into one. So it's really not fighting. It's just conditioning. Does that answer your question? But I don't think we're allowed to wrestle anymore, so yeah, we won't be challenging each other. Caitlin, I'm gonna tell him that. Hi.
Hi, I'm Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Hi. So you used to do gaming live streams a while ago, and I wanted to know if you were going to continue doing those.
I think I'm gonna do one for E4K again. Who's on E4K? Okay, if you don't know what E4K is, who knows what Random Acts is? Okay, so Random Acts is the charity that Misha started, and they help randomly. They do acts of random goodness, probably. I guess that's a fair way to present them. And so they have events, and so GishWiz, which is the largest scavenger hunt in the world. Right, so a lot of you do that. Is one of the events. And this is the closest thing to a fandom event as I can think of. I'm like, yeah, supernatural event, but this is a worldwide thing where anyone and everyone can participate, including a lot of people not in the supernatural community. Now, E4K is an endurance for kindness. Endurance, E for the 4 with the F, and K, kindness. So it's endurance for kindness. And the first time I did it, I played League of Legends for 26 hours, and it was a stream. And the reason why I'll do it again is because throughout the years, I have met so many people that have said, hey, by the way, thanks for that stream. I met a lot of my closest friends on that thing in the chat room. And I loved it, and it's happened like at least a dozen times now, and for that reason alone, I think I would do it. It's just, these events are great. It's just like a way to facilitate people coming together, just have fun, interact, and just keep that community going. So this last year, I've really been trying not to play as many games. I've been talking about this cat game a lot, and that's the only game I play because in order to progress in the game, you have to shut it off. And so, yes, Nekotsune. And so that's the only game I'll allow myself to play, because the game prior to that, it was like a tapping game. It was one of those stupid phone games, and my fingers were hurting, and I think I was developing carpal tunnel in both my hands, because I would be waking up in the middle of the night, like just tapping for 10 minutes before going back to sleep again. And that is that's a bad thing. So I had to stop that. So yes, I will do it at some point, but I think I have to pick a good game that I won't get addicted to. I think that's the key. Do you have any suggestions?
Life is Strange is very good right now. just came out with a new episode yesterday. It's kind of a story game, but it comes out in episodes.
Will it last for 24 hours?
Depending on which episodes you play, yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's also worrying. Okay, I'll consider it, but thank you. Look.
I was just wondering, since you've been to quite a number of conventions now, what is your favorite audience noise or reaction?
Like that? Or maybe, oh. I don't know.
Thank you.
Did that ever happen? Yeah, I don't know if you've ever like, oh, that's my favorite noise. I love make that. I wonder if Rich has a favorite noise. He probably does. I don't know. How about you pick a noise right now and make it my favorite? Let's hear it. Okay, all right. That sounds like a crowd. I know. What's a good noise? You want to suggest something?
I don't know. I just think it's kind of fun how many different noises the audience.
Okay, what has your favorite noise been today that you've heard?
I don't think so.
You got to do it for us.
Some of the fortune cookie noises were pretty good.
Oh, what were the fortune cookie noises?
I'm not 1,000 people. I can't make a noise.
Okay, do your best. Do the beginning, and everyone will jump in. Which fortune was it?
It's just because like Rich did one, and he got like one noise, like, oh yeah, that was dirty, like, and then like you read yours, and it was like, oh, that's so sweet, and so it was a different one. So I don't know.
So you just like all the different noises. I think for anything, almost any reaction, I mean, you're always looking. It's all about the contrast, right?
Yeah.
Things are different, and we didn't spike those cookies. That's just how they came out. Yeah, I think with anything, as performers, we're always looking for a reaction. As writers, you're looking for reaction. If I was a comedian, I'm writing jokes, I'm looking for laughter. So I think, you're always looking for the biggest and best reactions to the purpose that you're going for. Let's say I tell a joke and everyone's like, that would be the worst reaction because, that's totally not what I'm going for. I mean, sometimes you come across lucky accidents, but, usually the accidents are awful accidents. So, but I think for the most part, as long as the audience is engaged, those are the best.
Okay.
But if there had to be a noise to go with it, what would that be?
Woo!
Can we get a woo? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Thank you. Yeah, that was good. Okay. That will be my favorite noise. The woo. Hi.
So I am a massive Hillywood fan.
And
I was wondering.
She's at Harry Potter Studios!
I know.
Right now, okay.
Okay. I was wondering how you got involved with them and if you have any plans to do any new parodies with them.
I met them in Spain for this, it was a convention called OSRIC CHAU, and I love these multi-fandom conventions. And so there were a couple of Harry Potter people there were a couple of Game of Thrones people there were a couple of Merlin people there, and Once Upon a Time people there. And, every group, I was the only one from Supernatural, and every group kind of we got along, we hung out with a lot of people, but everyone kind of they find their cliques and stuff, and your old friends, and for me, I liked, no one was talking to the Hillywood girls, and we came in the same car, and so I'm like, hey, what show are you on, or what kind of stuff do you do? And they're very shy and bashful, but it's like, oh yeah, we do these little web videos that just for fun. And I looked at one and I saw the Doctor Who one. I'm like, wow, you got a gym and everything. And I just looked at the production value. I was so impressed. I'm like, when are you gonna do a Supernatural one? First thing I said to them, it's like, oh yeah, we kind of watched the show, but it's just finding the right video. And so I just kept, we kept in touch. We ended up doing a Walking Dead one, and that was a lot of fun. And then eventually they came around to, it's like, hey, we got a great idea for Supernatural. It's like, would any of the other guys be willing to do it? And you know what? I actually said, I'm like, I know Rob would do it. I said that.
I didn't know that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, but you're the first person. I'm like, well, I'm like, I know Rob will do it. I'm like, Rich, I'm like, I feel like Rich would do it. If Rich do it, then he'd talk enough that everyone else would do it.
Rich would need a lot of money, though.
Yeah.
He'd ask for a lot.
He did. But it's one of the wonderful things about this show is that what other show would you get the entire cast to do a cameo in their own parody? Love you guys.
So cool.
Right?
So cool.
And everyone jumped in, and it's just, it became the thing that it is, and it's just wonderful. So, I still stay in touch with Haley and Hannah, and we just missed each other in London. They're in Harry Potter Studios like a couple hours ago. And
are they working on their next one?
I think so, probably.
Their next parody?
I'll have to check in on them for that, but I think so. But yeah, they do great work, and they started off doing it like as kids with a camcorder just for fun, because that's what they did, and they just got better and better at it.
Yeah, that was fun. It was fun to be a part of.
Yeah.
So, how's it going?
Not bad.
I don't know. I thought they were behind me, but they didn't. Now I think they're probably. Hey,
that's okay. I mean,
we're rapping. We're good.
Yeah, I like having.
Speaking of rap, you gonna sing with us tomorrow night?
Yeah, that's right.
Woo! Yeah!
Who's going to the concert tomorrow?
Woo! Yeah!
You bring up a very good point. We haven't really talked about this. As much as we have fawned over the band, we haven't even gotten into the fact that Loud and Swain, although here for your playing pleasure during the day, really puts on their rock god threads and hosts a real show Saturday night. The Saturday night special.
And can I just say, Chicago?
Woo!
Can I just say that this is it's a very special night. It's gotten better and better. This Saturday in particular is going to be an off-the-hook, epic night of special guests.
So true. You know what the thing is? It's so great. You segue perfectly into. We always have cool people at the conventions. We mostly have cool people at the conventions. Occasionally we have cool people at the conventions. But this weekend, personally for me, high water mark, because Chicago, you're the first city in North America to get access to the brains behind the show, Mr. Bob Singer. And that is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
First of all, he's been with the show since it was a concept. He's an amazing director, an amazing producer, an amazing writer. His wife is a writer on the show. And he's just one of the most entertaining, just one of the funniest guys I've ever met. He literally we sit in the green room with the guy and he just cracks you up. He's fantastic. So do yourself a favor, carve out whatever time you need, skip the photo with the tall guys, be in here for the panel with Bob Singer when he does his thing, because he's an amazing man, an amazing guest, and nobody else gets him but Chicago. So take advantage of that, Chicago. Love you some Bob Singer. And I believe Bob Singer will be jamming with the band on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's going to be off the hook.
That's awesome.
Great. Yeah.
That's great.
It's going to be crazy.
Super exciting. Super exciting, Chicago. Big show for you people. OSRIC's going to be there tonight. He's going to be there tomorrow night. It's OSRIC all weekend long. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. OSRIC CHAU. Thank you. You know, Robbie?
Yeah.
Let's play a game.
What kind of game?
Oh, a game with two simple answers. It's either yes or no. It's a yes/no game, Robbie. So let me give you an example.
Okay.
I say yes.
We say no.
No, I'm pretty sure I said yes.
We say no.
Why do you always contradict me? You guys have a bad attitude.
No.
What if I said I would buy the beer?
Yes.
What if I said it's your turn to buy the beer, you son of a bitch?
No.
Sure. Let's bring out the host for the yes/no game. the man, the myth, the legend, Gary Berman.
Everybody. Thank you, guys.
Gary loves it when we make the song long. It took 3 to 4.
The introduction's so long, we don't have time for the contest any longer.
But we set you up for that joke, well, so it's good.
We do.
Gary Berman, everybody. We'll be back.
Lance Swain, everybody.